I ain't gonna lie, folks. This is becoming another very real case that, I saw myself covering. I did not see myself being put in the position that I was put in this morning. So my name's Michael Dalton. There's going to be a lot of new people watching this channel for the very first time. There's a couple of things that I want to lay out for you. One, I'm a father. They call me dad with the phone, but the truth and I can mute myself. Look, people love me. People gonna call me and tell me I'm muted. Good. I don't even know when I muted myself. Probably good that I had myself muted. Did y'all read my lips? Have I been muted from the beginning? We can't hear you. You're back. Good. Go out and come in. Boom. Go out and come in. You'll find out that I'm just a dad with the phone. That's what I was telling you. Because I know there's going to be a lot of new people on this channel. A lot of new people are liking and following Dad with the Phone on Facebook, on YouTube, on TikTok, across all the social media boards. What I want to tell you about myself before I get into what happened to me today is that I didn't try to get into Gannon's case. I'd been following it. I'd gone by the search place. I'm from Colorado. I live in Woodland Park, Colorado. I'm 25 minutes from Colorado Springs. I have been following Gannon's case since it kind of started, but I want you to understand where I'm at. About 2 years ago, or not 2 years ago, a year and a few months, in 2018, a woman was murdered on my street, Kelsey Barrett. I followed that case from start to finish. I tried to bring as much information as I could to the public. The world was captivated by the Kelsey Barrett case, and thus Dad with the Phone was kind of born into this true crime community. This is not something that I plan to do. Again, this case isn't something that I tried to throw myself into. Simply this morning, we were contacted by people from within inside the El Paso County Sheriff's Department. People don't believe me when I say that. And I don't care if you don't believe me anymore. The criticism has already come our way because we first released that they had made their arrest of Leteshia Stauch this morning at around 8 a.m. We actually found out just a little bit before 8 a.m. according to timestamps on my Facebook stuff. I did not put myself in this position. I didn't even go out looking for information. People send me information. People that know me and know what I do and know that I was involved in Kelsey's case and know that I bring stuff forward, they bring information to me. This situation is as much about the time that we live in, because I know for a fact that in the next 10 years, social media will solve crimes. As a matter of fact, there is a chance, there is a possibility from information we are gathering that Leteshia Stauch may have been planning this. She may have been a part of other murders. And there are people that are going to begin to come forward with information about Leteshia. I just got off a phone call with someone who has had Tisha in their home, who's had Al in their home, who knows Landon, who knows Gannon, who for a portion of their life was close to Tisha. And so the information we are gathering about this case isn't because we're trying to interfere with law enforcement. As a matter of fact, I'm waiting on some text messages, and when these text messages come, I'm going to share them, one, with the way that I've shared this morning. This morning, when we found out the news, we contacted Landon. We believe Landon already knew what was happening, obviously, because she is Gannon's mom. But we wanted her to know first before the internet found out. We then contacted media to try to confirm our sources. I don't have to pretend. I tweeted directly a few media outlets that I've built relationships with here to find out if they had official sources that had told them what was happening. And then we told you. So you were third on my list, but you were still first in the public. And so I'm explaining this because there are a bunch of new people coming to this case. A lot of people didn't follow me in the Kelsey Barrett case and don't understand kind of how Dad with the phone works. And so I'm trying to explain myself before we get into this information that I'm about to release to you, first time ever, hasn't ever been released. So that's the whole situation. You now kind of got your little 30-second intro to who I am and why I'm getting involved in this case. Again, I was at the press conference. I hold in my hand the very folder that they handed to all the press. I don't consider myself press. First of all, I want you to know that. And I also want you to know that the El Paso County Sheriff's Department and the El Paso County DA does not consider me press. You need to listen to that, because I want you to understand I'm not press. I'm not a journalist. I'm not an investigator. I haven't sworn to any oaths, and I don't follow any rules. Like if you tell me, well, you shouldn't have done this or you shouldn't have done that, or real journalists wouldn't have done that. I am not a journalist. So don't get upset at me if I say something that isn't journalistically ethical, okay? Because even the DA's office doesn't consider me a journalist. They said this in court during the Patrick Frazee case. So as I go and get information, I'm going to get some information openly, like this stuff, but then some information comes to me kind of like in envelopes under the door. So you have to understand that. And again, I'm not ranting to rant. I'm ranting because it's already started. I get a lot of attacks from people online. I get a lot of attacks from other creators and stuff when we start to get close to cases. I live here in Colorado. Gannon was taken and something happened to him in Colorado Springs, which is just down the street from me, okay? And so we went by the search areas. We were at the press conference. So with all that said, here's what I can tell you. This morning at 8 o'clock, I received a message via Facebook that came with inside the department. They said there's an arrest that has been made. I asked the question, has an arrest been made, or are they going to make an arrest? They kept telling me the arrest had been made, but it was unclear. We reported shirtless from my bed. Again, I'm not a professional, that an arrest was going to be made or had been made today. We then started bubbling our sources all over Colorado, trying to figure out if we could get an official. Could I get a picture of the arrest warrant? Could I get a copy of the arrest warrant? Could I get a picture of her mugshot? Could I do this? We were trying to figure it out. Even to this very moment, they haven't released her mugshot as of what I understand. Chat, you let me know. Somebody text me if they release that mugshot. What I do understand is there's 6 billion people in the world, and if just a fraction of those people start looking into this case, they're going to find things out that no one else knows. Today, that information came our way. So an arrest of Leteshia Stauch has been made, what we know, and has been confirmed at the press conference. We walked into this press conference. By the way, when me and my wife were on our way across the street, there was a group of DA lawyers. They wear badges that say DA's office. They broke their necks when they saw Dad with the phone. I promise you, I'm not joking. My wife was there. I looked at her and said, "Did you just see that?" A couple of the DA's office recognized me as we were coming into the press conference. When we sat down in the press conference, I sat back for a second. I wanted to observe the room and see who was in the room. We had already been talking to a lot of different press and a couple of law enforcement agents to see if we could get any information, but we had done this through Facebook messages, through some shadow accounts, trying to get this information to you guys. When we observed the room, we had picked our front row seat. We decided we were going to go down and sit on the front row of where they were going to let people sit. They had the front row blocked off for cameramen, so the very second row was open. We sat on the second row in this press conference. Who was in the room is important. You have to understand that when these investigations are happening, if certain people show up, it's for a reason. I recognized 3 FBI agents from the Denver office that were in the room. The one who spoke, I recognized him, but there were 2 other officers, Denver FBI agents in the room. This is very important. The FBI, they're not cheap. When they show up at press conferences, when they get involved in investigations, when they're calculating and coordinating investigations across state lines, this isn't cheap. They are throwing all of their resources, the FBI, CBI, Douglas County, Teller County, not Teller County, El Paso County, Colorado Springs Police, listen, Fort Carson and other military police were in the building. Military police. Now you have to understand, Al is a reserve officer. Military police were in the building. Parks and wildlife officers were in the building. We're talking about every law enforcement agency in Colorado was, in my opinion, represented at that press conference. That says a lot. And if you've been following cases like this, you'll understand that the resources they've thrown into Gannon's case could possibly be one of the most expensive cases in Colorado. Wildlife agents, FBI, CBI, Douglas County, El Paso County, military police, all of them in the building. The DA's office had 24 lawyers there. 24 DA's office lawyers were, or clerks or assistants, people wearing DA office stuff. Again, massive teams from the DA's office. The sheriff's department obviously had a large number of people there. One thing in particular that I want you to take note, they have victim counselors. There were multiple victim counselors that I recognized in the building because these same victim counselors were with the Barrett family. And so they had the victim with the family members. I did not know if the family, sorry about this, it is snowing and Colorado. I wiped my nose and I didn't want to do it with 1,000 people watching. I'll come on shirtless with 1,000 people watching, but I don't want to wipe my nose. In the building, the DA's office had counselors there. They were there with the family. I recognized some of these counselors. The PR officer from the DA's office was there. The DA, I can't remember his name except other than Mike, but I'm going to find it for you. El Paso County DA office candidate. Oh, mugshot's been released. Mugshot is in, folks. Boom. The mugshot is here. Let me get this to myself here. Y'all want to see this mugshot? Dad, what the fuck? I'm downloading this mugshot. I'll send it. I'll put it up on the screen. District Attorney Mike Waller. So Mike Waller is the head DA on this case. Mike Waller is up for election. Now my damn phone is going crazy because the mugshot just got released. So I'm going to put this mugshot up for you guys. Gmail. Mike Waller is the DA who is up for election. I tell you this because, again, very understand how this is going to be handled. This is going to be handled in a way that very few other cases are handled, because it is under the scrutiny of the DA's off, or under the scrutiny of the press. The DA is going to, they're going to follow the book when it comes to throwing it at this girl. A lot of people have already asked, why have they not charged her with, or why have they not said they're going to go after the death penalty against her? Well, the one thing that I could figure is that they don't have two things. Colorado doesn't kill people. So to go after the death penalty, they have to check these boxes. They may have not checked all those boxes because they're still collecting evidence. They don't have to go after, they don't have to say they're going after the death penalty for a little bit. They don't have to file that just right away. They can file that when she gets back here. What she's going through right now, a lot of people are going to be like, why aren't we getting information about when she'll be transferred, when she's going to be extradited, all of this information. Hey, sorry about that. Remember, I'm just a dad with a phone and some dogs. Hey, be quiet. I want to paint a picture for you, though, real quickly while I got her mugshot up here. This woman. What she's about to go through, she has no clue. Her running to South Carolina, there's two things that'll happen. One, it's going to delay some stuff. If she were to fight extradition, in other words, if she were to fight extradition back to Colorado, which she very likely could do, this is going to postpone some things because she's going to have to go to court there in South Carolina and go to an extradition hearing. But if she waives her right to extradition, she could waive her right to extradition. Out-of-state people who are being held on out-of-state warrants, Colorado has some leniency. They could expedite her quickly, right? They could get her back to Colorado as quick as they wanted to, right? But they can also take their time. They can also put her on a van, and they can let her have a 10 or 15-day trip across America as they stop in little county jails and throw her in a county jail for her to sleep overnight as they transfer people. So there's a couple of ways they could do this. They could send some U.S. Marshals to pick her up and extradite her through a plane ride. Or they could give this girl, and it's not, it wouldn't be uncommon. The only thing that makes me think that they may give her a plane ride instead of giving her a van ride is if they fear for her safety from being able to protect her. If the people were to say, listen, this is a high profile case, her picture is all over the place. If you bring her through 5 county jails on her way back to Colorado, there's more opportunity for other inmates, for Epstein's guards to help her along the way, if you catch what I'm saying. So it doesn't mean they're going to spend the money and fly her. It just means they have some options. If she doesn't waive her right to extradition, in other words, she wants to fight the extradition, we're going to have to wait till South Carolina goes through those extradition hearings. There is no way possible that they are ever going to not expedite her. First of all, Colorado doesn't use the death penalty, so it doesn't matter on that, because a lot of times states who don't have the death penalty will sometimes not extradite for the death penalty. It's going to take some time no matter what. Just like in the Lori Vallow case where they're trying to get her extradited, it was going to take about a week and a half before her extradition from Hawaii back over here. Well, with this case, she still has to go before a judge. She's being held without bond because she won't get a bond until she's back in the 4th Judicial District here in El Paso County. She's not going to get a bond until she's back in El Paso County. So they're not going to fight a bond. They're not going to give her a bond because it's murder in the 1st degree with a life without parole chance. Like, that's her charges. If they get her, and let me tell you something about Dan May. Dan May ain't going to let this woman walk. He may be retiring come April or November, whenever the elections are, he ain't gonna let this woman walk. So whoever you are out there who think because there's no body that they can't keep her and prosecute her, I would point the finger to the Patrick Frazee case, where they just successfully prosecuted a man for murder in the first degree, gave him life without parole plus 156 years, because this woman has been quoted in saying, no body, no crime. Listen to me. That woman right there, Leteshia Stauch, on your screen. I'm waiting. It's coming. I will have a text message of a private conversation this woman had about no body, no crime. That information is going to go straight to the DA's office. I have talked to verifiable sources in South Carolina where this woman has been quoted in saying, no body, no crime. We have heard these very same words from Patrick Frazee. She must not have been watching Dad with the phone, because they got him. They're going to get you. So that information came to us from some very close people with her. And it wasn't about Gannon's case. I want you to understand this. It was about another case, that she lived in apartments where a man was murdered, or where a woman was murdered after cheating with a married man. She is quoted in saying about that murder, they haven't found that body to this very day. But this is the mindset of a woman who had a conversation with someone about a missing person and hasn't yet to be found, that this woman could very likely be involved in another murder. It shows you her mindset. It shows you her mindset when she did this interview about Gannon. It shows you her mindset when she did more interviews. So we're dealing with a psychopath. We're dealing with someone who is not in their right mind. And the fact that they've arrested her doesn't mean she's guilty, by the way. But I can tell you, Dan May doesn't rush. He doesn't rush. We've watched it. We've watched it with the Patrick Frazee case. It took him almost a month to arrest. This case took just a little bit over a month to make an arrest. But I can tell you that the information coming from South Carolina is this woman has talked about murders and has talked about how to get away with murder. That's going to be used against her. You heard it here first on Dad with the Phone. I'm letting you know that. I don't know where I was going. I got thrown off because text messages are coming in. What the hell's chat doing right now? I do, Andy. I don't know, because it is simply just a text message that was sent. What I can tell you, when in this other case, that she was questioned in this case. Listen, she was questioned in this other murder case. They never arrested her. She then left the state. They never found that other person. It was an adult, and people go missing all the time, and it's never reported as a murder case because they're adults and they haven't been found. So they're considering them just, these adults disappeared. She was questioned in this case, and I know they're listening. South Carolina, I know you're listening. I know law enforcement's listening. I know the DA's office is listening. This is information coming to us. Don't be mad at the messenger. She was questioned in a murder case or in a missing persons case. She vanished, or she left the state and then took off, and then she came back, and she is quoted in saying that when they were having a conversation about this missing woman from the same apartment complex, she was quoted in saying, well, if they don't have a body, they don't have a crime. And so they'll never get anyone for murder. And at the time, it seemed weird to the person on the other end of that message. It seemed strange, but they were intimate with Leteshia. So it was weird that she was questioned. It was weird. And they were discussing this case of this other missing person. And then all of a sudden Leteshia just says, well, if they don't have a body, they don't have a crime. That is a mind of someone not right. That is a mind of someone like Patrick Frazee. That is a mind of someone like Crystal Lee Kinney. That is a mind of someone like Lori Vallow. That is a mind of someone like MFer. So when we talk about the mindset of this woman on the screen who's being held in South Carolina right now, waiting extradition back to Colorado for the murder of Gannon Stauch, when we talk about her, you have to understand that this is not someone that's right in the head. How long has she not been right in the head? I don't know. Let's see. I want to get back to this press conference because some things happened at the press conference that I need to tell you about. Oh, now the statements made by her to police will all be used against her. We know this. We know they're going to use every interview. They're going to use every statement she has made. I want to clarify some things right now. It is under our impression that at this moment, the only people that have been arrested for the murder of Gannon Stauch is Leteshia Stauch. Now, online rumors and family members of Gannon have said that the FBI, when notifying them that an arrest was being made, it was because someone was talking. Now, if we were to go by process of elimination on who would be talking, we could talk about Leteshia's sisters. We could talk about Leteshia's daughter. Now, Leteshia's daughter is 17 years of age. In most states, that makes her an adult in the criminal justice system. In most states, crimes against children like this, she could be or charged, if she was going to ever be charged with this, she could be charged as an adult. If Leteshia's daughter came forward to the police and began to talk to them, this would be a logical explanation for the police to tell Gannon's family that the breaking developments in this case came because someone has come forward. Now, I heard this from a family member. I heard this from social media, and I heard this from news reporters sitting around me. I also got a text message from a very credible source inside that said there has been someone who has come forward. Now, they could be looking at Harley as a witness. And when you become a state-endorsed witness, they will not say your name. They're not going to mention. This is information that could, what they consider, hinder an investigation. So what I'm telling you is very much hearsay. If you take this to be fact, I'm coming out on the record saying that where I've heard these sources from. I've heard it from a family member of Gannon. I've heard it from media, face to face with me, sitting around me. I've heard it from a source inside the department, but it hasn't been made official. Now, the DA's office is not going to ever release her name unless they end up charging her with something that they make a plea deal with. If they came forward and were going to make a plea deal with someone, they may mention their name because this This happened in the Patrick Frazee case. This is how it goes down here at the 4th Judicial District. This is how we've seen it happen with the very DA who will be prosecuting Leteshia Stauch. If they have a witness, whether it be Tisha's daughter, whether it be Tisha's sisters, whether it be whoever, there's been some rumors about Tisha's sisters being arrested in South Carolina. The only reason they would arrest them is if they would have charged them. Here's the kicker, though. Their mugshots were released minutes. These people who they say are Tisha's relatives were released minutes after this thing, and they just now released the mugshot of Leteshia Stauch. I don't know. So when you ask me, have they arrested her sisters? I don't know, because I sat there in the press conference and the FBI made it very clear they had arrested one person in this case. That's what I can tell you. I can tell you that it says it in the press release. I can also tell you that before the press release ever came out, we told you that they had arrested Leteshia Stauch. And so as soon as we can clarify if more people have been arrested, I'm going to tell you. But from what I gathered was somebody was talking. Loose lips sink ships. And when it comes to murder and murder of a child, if you could hold that secret to the grave, you are more sick than most. You are if you could hold a secret of a woman, no matter what happened. Now, I don't want to crucify Leteshia Stauch, but I did tell somebody if they fry her, I won't be mad. I didn't pick apart her interview, but I will now. I try to give family the benefit of the doubt because I don't know how I would act if my kids went missing. You would probably point at me and say he's guilty just by me talking. And so I didn't point fingers. I didn't try to crucify this woman. But we'll put her on trial on social media. We'll let her have her day in social media. She's going to get her day in court. And something that I've learned from the Patrick Frazee case is they got a lot more information than they're giving me, even the tidbit they give me, right? And so they've got information. We told you on our way down to the press conference that we know that they have a crime scene. They have a crime scene, which means they have physical evidence to believe that there was a crime committed there. They charged her with murder in the first degree. We got to believe that they know where this thing went down. I have I got to be careful how I say this. It's my opinion that Gannon will be found. I'm not going to hinder an investigation, but it is in my opinion that Gannon will be found in this case. All right. I want to show you I'm going to show you a message that I referenced earlier that we're going to pass on to the DA's office right now. I'm going to email it to myself. I want to show you this text message because I want you to understand where this, I want you to understand that the words that have come out of this woman in another case of a woman that she was questioned about, and I'm gonna give you all that information here. I'm going to let you as the sleuthers out there look this case up. There's actually people that have been arrested in this case, but they had never found the body. Let me get to my account here. I have people contacting me from all over the world right now, but the ones I'm trying to keep are the ones from South Carolina and the ones that are close to the family here. Shoot, let's see here. This information is coming in as I'm talking, so this isn't something that is I can come up with that quick. I'm trying to get it for you this real quick. Gmail. If you're just joining, thanks for joining. You can hit like and subscribe. We're talking about the Leteshia Stauch Gannon case. Right now, I'm about to show you a text message that or a Facebook message that was exchanged between someone who has had Leteshia, Al, Gannon, who knows Landon, who knows this family from South Carolina. They have a kind of an intimate relationship. If you're not aware of this, this is going to come out. Leteshia Stauch was a softball coach. She worked with at-risk kids, with handicapped kids. This is how crazy and how sick it could be. The people that I've spoke with that had their kids around this woman didn't believe the news as it was coming out. But then they started to see these interviews, and they watched the interview of her with her back to the camera. And she said some things in that interview that people who know Leteshia Stauch know that something wasn't right. And anyone who watches that interview could make assumptions, but none of us know Leteshia Stauch to be able to compare it to a normal Leteshia, right? We were comparing a stepmom who had potentially had a runaway kid, had a kid endangered, to Leteshia Stauch that we were seeing on this interview. But when people who know Leteshia Stauch compare that interview and talk about that interview, and I've spoken with a couple of people now who had known Leteshia Stauch before and now have been watching this case unfold, and then all of a sudden hindsight, right, that 2020 clicks on, that vision becomes clear, and all of a sudden they're, oh my gosh, remember back during this case when she was talking about this and she lived there, she was questioned by so this is what we're about to look at. I'm about to show you I just don't want to get kicked off. Just one sec. I gotta do this right or I'll get kicked off. Here we go. Let's try this. Boom. Did that do it? Boom. So the text message is up now. So I have a text message that reads, and I want you to understand what they're talking about. They're talking about a different case. Now, this isn't a text message that happened, and this isn't something about Gannon, but this gives you a mindset of her. And so I want you to listen. I want you to listen to what this is. This has to do, and sleuthers, right now, get your Googler ready, because I'm about to tell you about a case that I want you to go find out everything you know about this case, and I want you to send it to Dad with the phone. You know who I'm talking to. The Heather Elvis case. You need to go look up the Heather Elvis case that happened in South Carolina. Leteshia Stauch lived in the same apartment complex with Heather Elvis, who disappeared. She has this conversation with someone. She says, yeah, I'm unsure about the writer and all. Imagine if it was true. Now, the blue is the person who received this text message. The white text messages are from Leteshia Stauch. Imagine if it was true. That would be horrible. Someone would kill him probably. Oh my God, yes. Holy shit. I would be shocked. But hey, you never know. It's kind of crazy. Those other two didn't get crack in jail. I know. I like to think of the money raised and the sob stories. Yeah, that would be sick. Yeah, but you have to think, nobody, they know no murder charge without a body. That is true. So what they're talking about is a case of another woman who went missing in Leteshia Stauch's apartment complex. Leteshia Stauch was questioned. There was someone who was arrested for the disappearance, or there's some people that are spending some time in jail right now, but there was also some people who started raising money. She talks about these sob story things that are happening, but then she says, but you have to think ... no body, so they know no murder charge without a body. And so you have to understand what Leteshia Stauch's mindset is in this other case. She's saying that if they don't have a body, they're not going to get you for murder. Now, we know that there's a man serving prison without parole 156 years, and they never recovered the body of Kelsey Barrett. And so just like Patrick Frazee, who went around talking about this is how you get away with murder, no body, no crime. This is the mindset of the psychopaths who eventually are going to try to commit murder. And in this case, Leteshia Stauch, the woman who wrote this, is now been arrested for the murder of Gannon Stauch. And so this text message right here has been sent to the DA's office. Now, I just emailed it to the DA's office from the real dad with the phone. And they're gonna get it. Now, whether or not they believe anything, whether or not they understand what's happening and use this against her, they could use this message to take with her and investigate her. And so I see this, and I'm glad this source sent me this, because they were concerned. What if this was to show a mindset? What if they were to use this to get something out of Leteshia? And so I don't know if the DA's office will contact me. They absolutely know who Dad with the phone is. And so I have no doubt that the DA's office will at least look into this. This is information coming to me, but I have to send this. I actually need to send this to another lawyer real quick. I want to make sure to send this to another lawyer so that they make sure to send it to the DA's office as well. I'm actually going to call this tip line real quick.
719-520-6666, an anonymous tip line for the El Paso County Sheriff's Office. If this is an emergency, hang up and call 911. This line has been established for you to leave information regarding criminal activity you know about or wanted individuals whose whereabouts you wish to report. This line is checked during normal business hours. Please be as specific as you can with the information you share, and we will investigate as soon as possible. If you desire a disposition, you will need to leave a name and a contact number so someone can contact you. If you have reached this number in error, the main telephone number for the Sheriff's Office is 719-520-7100. Our dispatch center non-emergent line is 719-390-5555. Record your message at the tone. When you are finished, hang up or press pound for more options.
Yeah, this is Michael Dalton. I'm an online personality and YouTube sleuth. I go by Dad with the Phone. The DA's office is very aware of me. I have a text message that was sent to me, not by an anonymous source. I know who the source is, but it is a text message of an exchange with Leteshia Stauch. And Leteshia Stauch is talking about another case but she uses the phrase, if they don't have a body, they don't have a murder, they can't charge with murder. I have a screenshot of that text message, and I have the information to pass along to you on where this text message came from, who it came from. You can give me a call at 719-377-0343. You can also text me at that number and send me an email address that you would like this to be sent forward to. I've actually forwarded this email on to the DA's office through an email I had of you guys, but I wanted to call and leave this tip. Thanks. There you go. They're watching online right now. They're seeing this online. I have no doubt that the DA's office is very much watching. I will let them continue to do what they want to do. You have to understand that the DA's office has a love-hate relationship with Dad with the phone. They've already gone through this with me in the Patrick Frazee case. Some people get on to me because of that. The deal is this: the world is changing. People like me exist. Sleuthers like me exist. Online sleuthers exist. They're going to get information that the DA's office isn't going to get, and you got to pass that stuff on. That's the real thing here, is if you actually do have credible information about this case, I encourage you to go ahead and contact the DA's office or the sheriff's department. Every little bit of information they have to comb through, and whether or not they think it's a credible source or it's not a credible source, they have to comb through it. And if a text message like this one, where she has said that, you know, they're not going to be a murder charge if they don't find a body, even though it was in a different case, it shows a mindset. And so I went ahead and passed that along. You heard that here first on Dad with the Phone. And you got to do what you got to do. If you want to contact me, you can contact me at the links below. You can also check this out. You're not going to find very many people that will put their cell number on the screen. And I get all kinds of crazy calls when it comes to this. And if you call me, I will make you aware of it now that this is a one-party state. And I record every phone call that comes in. I got a special app. Sometimes I do it live. So don't call me if you think I'm not going to record your phone call. Because even when you tell me not to record your phone call, I'm going to record your phone call. That's how Dad with the Phone works. And so we have interviewed family members. We have interviewed people. And a lot of what we do is try to bring awareness to a case. This one just happened to fall in our lap because it's close by. People reached out to me and gave me information before it was released to the public, and we began to show that. Bond hearing tomorrow has been set for her. Let me see if I can get a little bit more information. Mugshot is out. It looks like the bond hearing for her has been set. They've already said she's going to be held without bond. So she's going to be held without bond, especially because she's facing life without parole. And unlike Lori Vallow, who wasn't facing life without parole, she was just facing some welfare, child endangerment, child reporting wrong, and all this stuff. This woman is facing a first-degree felony in the state of Colorado, the highest felony they can give her, first-degree murder charges in someone under the age of 12. Let me grab this real quick, and I'll read you the actual charges as stated in the press release here. Released today. Man, look at this. This is what we're doing. This is why we're doing this. Gannon is a hero, according to his mother. We're going to read through some of these reports. These reports go back, so they go back all the way to the 20. It looks like the first media report I have here from is February or January 31st. So I have a report that was released on January 31st all the way up to today. This one was released right here. This is the official report on the letterhead straight from the sheriff's office. So this isn't a screenshot that I printed. This is simply what they actually handed out at the press conference today. Arrest made in the Gannon Stauch case on March 2nd, 2020 at approximately 8:04 a.m. Mountain Standard Time. Oh my gosh. So we reported this at 8:15. So 10 minutes after they made the arrest, we dropped this on Facebook. I thought it was an hour later because I thought they told us it was Eastern time, but they're saying in this official report at 8:04 a.m. we reported. You can check the timestamps on the Facebook page. Shirtless in my bed. We know that our source actually got this information at 7 a.m. before the arrest was made, and that's why there was a confusion when I was not a confusion. There wasn't a confusion. I want people to understand that we were told the arrest was made or was going to be made today. Well, the truth is when that information came to us, the arrest hadn't been made yet. We made the report 10 minutes after they made the arrest. I didn't know that until just now. At approximately 8:04 a.m. Mountain Standard Time, El Paso County Sheriff's detectives, FBI agents, and members of the El Paso County 4th Judicial District Attorney's Office arrested Leteshia Stauch, date of birth 8/04/1983, in Henry County, South Carolina. Horry County, South Carolina. Leteshia Stauch will be held at the Horry County Jail on the charges of murder in the first degree, child under 12, position of trust. 18-3-1021F. Child abuse resulting in the death, according to 18-64011A. 7A1, tampering with a deceased human body, 18-86110. 5, and tampering with the physical evidence, 18-8-6101A. She is awaiting extradition hearing before being transported to El Paso County Jail in Colorado Springs. The investigation into the disappearance of Gannon Stauch began January 27, 2020, when Leteshia Stauch, who is Gannon's stepmother, called 911 to report Gannon had not returned from a friend's house. By January 28, 2020, our major crimes detectives assumed responsibility over the case and began working hand in hand with multiple partners. By January 30th, 2020, the case was upgraded from runaway to missing endangered. Please report tips you may have. Oh, here's it is. That's what I needed to get right there. The tips at El Paso County. I need to email this. That's what I needed to email real quick. Let me email this. This was the email I was looking for. Forward. No. Trash. No, wait. Cancel. Compose to tips at .com. I sent it to a lawyer's thing that I had. Attach. Oh, shoot. Cancel. Image 1 JPEG. Why can't I just freaking grab cancel? Drop files. Boom, sent. All right. We would like to thank the following agencies for their time, ongoing efforts, expertise, and help they provided and continue to provide for investigations. So this is all the search partners. And then let's continue to work together to find Gannon. So as of March 2nd, 2020, they are saying that they haven't found Gannon because they're continuing to work to find Gannon. I have all the reports. I've already posted these online, so I'm not going to go through and read them. I'm hesitant to take phone calls. I've had 2 phone calls come in just now, but I'm hesitant to take phone calls even though I put my number up there. I'm going to weed through some other stuff. I may have Ouray. So it's Ouray County. Oh. Somebody just sent me something else. Okay. I got some information I need to follow up on. We'll be back. We've been going for about an hour. I try to keep these things at about an hour. If you're just joining, you can go back. We just kind of give a little overview of what happened to us today. We dropped some new information that came in from South Carolina about some things Leteshia Stauch has said in the past. We have a couple of other interviews that we've already done as far as phone calls, but right now we don't want to release those phone calls because the safety of the people behind those phone calls. And that's going to be the honest truth. I have talked to people that have said some things that they've asked me just to keep private. I've talked to you a little bit about some of the stuff. We've shown you some text messages from Leteshia Stauch, but I got to be honest, when you start touching the family, this thing becomes very real. And today's press conference was one of the most emotional things I have ever sat through. If you didn't hear the emotion in Landon, I'm going to give you an opportunity right now to watch from a different angle. We've released a couple of angles when it comes to the Leteshia Stauch press release. I'm about to release another, a different angle of it, and I'm going to let you listen to it. It's 24 minutes long. I'm going to finish this broadcast off with just another look at the press conference from today. If you missed it, this is just a different camera angle. You'll be able to see and hear and feel the emotion of what happened today. This was not easy. Going to these press conferences and hearing this, you see the emotion in the investigators' eyes. I'm going to tell you, the energy inside that room was incredible. I've already explained that there were people from all over every agency. And so I'm going to throw this raw footage up. This is raw footage from the press conference today. I believe the audio is well enough that you'll be able to hear it. It's from a different angle. Here you go. You can see Dan May just walked across the room there. And Dan May is the DA, who's the DA right now. He's the acting DA of the 4th Judicial District, the head DA. There's a lot of DA officers, a lot of different people that were in the building. Here comes the family counselors. The lady in the red is the sheriff's officer's PO officer. So she's like the public information officer. Some of these other people are just people that work at the court clerk's office that are helping with sound checks, making sure that the press has everything they need. They were the ones who spread out the press conference stuff. But you're gonna see, like, so she's just there to make sure things run smoothly. She works for the clerk's office. She's not anyone that's
5 minutes.
you know there's not, she's just doing
No, you're
sound
fine. I
check
got you.
stuff. This is again raw footage released.
Everybody good on focus?
We got sent this
Good.
footage via a press release packet that went out, kind of a pool. There's a couple of different live feeds that you can watch. My live feed wasn't the best. I'm just a dad with a phone. We know that there was over 30 cameramen there, and they were, releasing
Mic
this
check. 1,
this
2, 3,
stuff.
4,
So
5, 6.
I believe this is
For you
from.
producers. Mic check. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5,
This
6,
is,
7, 8,
I
9,
believe,
10. Everybody
KOAA's
good?
camera.
Just keep.
This could be KOAA's
Yes, your
camera.
photographers are looking.
The guy in the background in the suit,
Right.
he's just another reporter. So he's just a reporter. I recognize him from the Patrick Frazee case. So he's a reporter out of Denver. There are multiple reporters in this room right now. Let me see if I can jump through this real quick. The lady in front there is the PO officer. She kind of just walked past. She works for the DA's office. All right. And to my best knowledge, I believe that Gannon's aunt is right there. And then I'm not 100% sure who this lady is on the
Thank
far
you for
right.
coming today.
I think it's part of
We
Al's
thank you for your
family.
patience as we work diligently to piece together what led to Gannon's disappearance. Our speakers today will be Sheriff Bill Elder, Lieutenant Mitch Mahalko, FBI Denver Division Special Agent in Charge, Dean Phillips, District Attorney Dan May, and Senior Deputy District Attorney Michael Allen. We will not be taking any questions at the conclusion of the press conference. However, I will be reading a statement from Gannon's father, Al. Landon may not speak. Please respect the family's request for privacy as they begin to absorb and process the devastating news they have received today. Sheriff Elder.
Thanks, Jackie. Welcome, everybody. Today marks 5 weeks since the investigation into the disappearance of Gannon Stauch. We're holding the press conference to update you on some significant developments. While we've yet to locate Gannon, this morning, just after 8:00 a.m. East Coast time, Leteshia Stauch was taken into custody in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina without incident by law enforcement officers from the El Paso County Sheriff's Office, the Denver and Columbia divisions of the FBI, the Myrtle Beach, South Carolina Police Department, the Horry County, South Carolina Police Department, and Sheriff's Office. Leteshia will be held without bond in the J. Reuben Long Detention Center in Horry County, South Carolina, where she will remain until she's extradited back to Colorado Springs on the following charges. Charge 1, murder in the first degree of a child under 12 years of age by a person in a position of trust. Child abuse resulting in death. Tampering with a deceased human body and tampering with physical evidence. I cannot stress enough what a difficult time this has been for Gannon's family. Like Jackie said, they've provided a written statement, but they will not, and they won't be providing any interviews at this time. And I ask that you protect their privacy. This has been a rapidly developing and highly complex investigation, and it underscores the importance of teamwork in the law enforcement agents in our community. While our hope is always that tragic cases like this never happen, it is precisely why the extremely close relationships we enjoy with our local, state, and national law enforcement partners becomes the most important. The list of people from around the country that have worked many, many long hours and invested themselves so deeply and is long and impressive. I offer my sincere thanks to each and every one of you for all that you've done in the investigative efforts so far. The safety of the citizens of this community is the top priority to all of us standing before you today. We'd like to thank the thousands of members of this community for your compassion, your kindness, and your thoughtfulness, your generosity, and your support while we've taken on the tireless search efforts over the past 5 weeks. On behalf of the Sheriff's Office, all of the investigators, the staff, the volunteers involved in this investigation from all over the United States, we'd like to express our deepest sympathies to Gannon's family and friends. There is no way to express the depth of our sympathy, and our hearts break for you. But I make this promise: this team will continue its work. These partners will remain steadfast and diligent until the conclusion and final prosecution of this case. We will not stop, and this investigation has only begun. Leteshia's arrest photograph will be made available to the media as soon as we can following the press conference. Jackie will have the details. And now I will turn the microphone over to Lieutenant Mitch Mahalko.
Good afternoon. We will not be going into detail about the information in the investigation which ultimately resulted in the arrest of Leteshia. But I can tell you that this has been a methodical and time-consuming multi-state operation with investigators working nearly around the clock to find Gannon. There have been thousands of hours of investigation and search efforts. This includes large-scale searches in addition to small, specific searches with drones, horses, canines, and other resources. While we have not yet found Gannon, information has been developed that is helping us narrow our search. As you can see from the arrest, sadly, we do not believe Gannon is alive. Our work is only just beginning, and you will continue to see many law enforcement officials in El Paso County over the coming weeks and possibly months as we continue our relentless pursuit of justice for Gannon and his family. On behalf of the investigators and staff involved in this investigation, we would like to express our deepest sympathies to the family and the friends of Gannon. The death of a child is something no parent should ever have to endure. This case has not just been an investigation for us. This case has become very personal and will forever remain in our hearts. We will continue to work closely with the 4th Judicial District Attorney's Office, the FBI, and other partners to the conclusion of this investigation. At this time, I'd like to turn this over to FBI Denver Division Special Agent in Charge, Dean Phillips.
Thank you for being here today. On behalf of the men and women of the FBI, all the special agents, investigative analysts, support staff, and our task force officers, we express our deepest condolences to the family, the friends, and the loved ones of Gannon Stauch. To the press, I also ask that you give the family space and time in order to process the information that they're dealing with now. To the community, thank you for your patience and understanding, for your assistance, and for the support you provided to the law enforcement community as we have worked through this investigation. The law enforcement community, I want to recognize in particular the El Paso County Sheriff's Office, Colorado Springs Police Department, the Douglas County Sheriff's Office, our partners, our task force partners in Pueblo, the Pueblo PD, Pueblo County Sheriff's Office, and the Colorado State Patrol. All of these agencies have worked tirelessly and seamlessly together throughout this investigation. Although this is not the outcome for which we had hoped, we continue to work this aggressively, and we will continue to work it through to the end. As far as the FBI is concerned, we brought significant resources to bear, to include agents, special agents, investigative analysts, technical support, evidence response teams, and behavioral analysis unit support. But we are not done. We will be here with our partners to the end. We will continue to help law enforcement and the prosecutors see this to the very end. And know this, when it comes to the loss of a child, the FBI will always bring all available and logical resources to bear to help our law enforcement partners when called. We will answer the call. To the community, I want to tell you that at this point, all the evidence points to Gannon's disappearance being the result of foul play. But we have no reason to believe that there is any information or intelligence indicating a threat to other children in the community. Thank you very much.
This is not the outcome that anybody here wanted. We wish today, as we were standing here, that we had little Gannon with us to be able to present to our community still alive and doing well. Unfortunately, that's not the situation. As you've heard, an arrest warrant was issued for first-degree murder of Gannon in this case. Unfortunately, we've had to get to know the family now as part of our prosecution family, and they'll be with us for the next many months going forward. It's an unfortunate thing that we are here today. I do want to thank all those who've been involved. The FBI has been amazing. John Cronin, who's the special agent in charge here in Colorado Springs, has spent literally his team 24/7 for weeks across this country. We could not have done this without their support. Bill Elder's team has been fabulous in terms of their work, working tirelessly again 24/7 for many weeks, hoping we would find Gannon. Unfortunately, we are not. Colorado Springs Police Department, Kevin Clark came over, and it's been amazing the work that he has done, which I understand he may even get a special recognition from the FBI in terms of what he's done on this case. My lead prosecutor on this case has been Michael Allen. He will continue to be the lead prosecutor throughout this case. And with that, I'd like to introduce him to fill you in on some of the things we expect going forward.
I want to let everybody know that the affidavit in this case supporting the arrest warrant remains sealed. We do understand why this case has drawn the attention it has from across our community and also across our country. But we want to do everything we can to make sure we achieve justice for Gannon. So we're not going to talk about the facts of the case going forward. We want to make sure that we protect these criminal proceedings. Anytime a child goes missing, it's natural for people to want to help out. And we encourage people, if you have credible tips, to still report those tips to the Sheriff's Department. We are going to continue this investigation. And really, it's a two-pronged investigation at this point, or process, I should say. One, we still want to bring Gannon home so that he can have a proper burial and his family can achieve the closure that they need. But we also want to hold the person that we are charging, Leteshia Stauch, accountable for what she did in this case. She has been arrested on the following charges: murder in the first degree, child under 12 by a person in a position of trust. That is a Class 1 felony and carries a potential penalty of life in prison without parole. The other charges are child abuse resulting in death, tampering with the deceased body, and tampering with physical evidence. The extradition process is where we are now. We will proceed until we get Leteshia back here to face formal filing of charges, which will be sometime in the coming days. We do have a team of folks in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina right now, 2 prosecutors from our office, FBI agents, and members of the El Paso County Sheriff's Office. They're collecting evidence even in South Carolina as we speak, and that will continue until they exhaust that effort. I do want to add, too, that all defendants, Leteshia included, are innocent until proven guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. That will be the case. It's our burden to prove this case beyond a reasonable doubt. We are confident that we'll be able to do that. But because we have that burden and we want to protect these proceedings, we won't be commenting again on the facts of this case. Thank you very much.
really am not in the correct mindset to be even standing up here, but if I had to say one thing, that when he said Gannon is no longer with us, I'd have to say Gannon is with us. After the stories of people from all over the world, he's not only my hero now, he's the world's hero. So I think the community, the positive support from a state that I've never visited other than 2 or 3 times, I'm astounded by the amount of love that's not come from me. It's came from my boy. And never thought I'd be standing here. It's a nightmare. I've had to put trust in the people I don't know. Today, I got the worst news and the best news. Obviously, we know what the worst news is, but the best news is that justice will be served. And I'll make sure that justice is served because my boy did not deserve any of this that has happened to him. So I urge media one more time just to hold off on questions until we know that this person, the stepmom that I even trusted, that she will pay 100% for this heinous thing she done. And I know that that's going to will be done. So I ask you guys, I beg and plead of you, if you've known or if you see this story, all of you have seen this story, please hold that very close to you. Because I want to live this earth knowing that justice was served for my boy. And I know that you've seen pictures, you've seen stories, you've seen my little man. He is truly my hero. And I'm gladly giving that to you guys too, that he can be your hero. I've heard stories of people that have not prayed in years, that have finally fell on their knees to pray. And I know where my son's at, without a shadow of doubt. So many families have been brought closer together because of this. I know my boy is special, and I've told my people and my family and friends that Gannon has a testimony, that Gannon has a story. He's special. And this is his story. So make that story magnificent, who my child is. And I'm putting my trust into you guys to do that. So thank you for allowing Gannon to be your hero and sharing him with us.
So now I'm going to read a statement from Al, Gannon's dad. In a moment on September 29, 2008, my heart stopped as my baby boy entered this world way too early, weighing only 1 pound, 6 ounces. His infectious smile and constant laughter made an impact on every single person he's ever met. Although I miss the years when he was learning to walk, learning to talk, and he had welcomed his little sissy home from the hospital, I've been looking forward to his teenage years and the fun we had ahead of us as he became a young man. In a moment, on March 2nd, 2020, my heart stopped again with what we have heard up to this point. My little boy is not coming home. We will never play Nintendo again. No more Taco Tuesdays. No more smooth-looking haircuts. No more Big Bubba for my Lena, and no more G-Man for the world. The person who committed this heinous, horrible crime is one that I gave more to anyone else on this planet, and that is a burden that I will carry with me for a very long time. But the God I believe in is the owner and decider of justice and vengeance. Only he can repay. Although I am selfish and want my baby boy here now and forever, how can I question God for bringing Gannon home to him? Because Gannon believed in God, and I will never stop believing. Thank you to the El Paso County Sheriff's Office and the FBI for the thousands of hours it took to uncover the truth as we know it. And may they stay strong and focused as they move forward. The mugshot for Leteshia will be available on our social media platforms as soon as she is formally booked into the Horry County Sheriff's Office Detention Facility. I do have press packets available for the media, which will be available at the conclusion of the press conference. As Senior District Attorney Michael Allen said, all investigation questions should be directed to the District Attorney's Office. All search effort information will continue to come from the El Paso County Sheriff's Office. Right now, I'd like to take the time to thank the media for your constant coverage and not letting this nation forget Gannon. Our work is not done. Let's continue to work together to find him. Thank you for coming.
I just want to say something, but I'm gonna close this video out. At this time, I have been in contact with Landon, and I've actually asked her, is there anywhere that a fundraiser is set up that we know that is for you guys and your family? And I have been told by her that there are no fundraisers set up by them that she is endorsing. Now, if you've seen a post on her page that isn't from that is something different, I'm not telling you not to listen to those posts. But the information I have been given from the family is that they don't have a fundraiser set up right now. What I can tell you is that if there is an official fundraiser for the family, the Sheriff's Department themselves will put that out there. They will put that information out there so that you know. So I would be very cautious on where you send your funds if people are claiming it's for Gannon. I'm not going to tell you that people haven't set up funds that they're going to collect and then give to the family. But I'm telling you from my channel that when I spoke with Landon, that there is not a place set up for them by them or endorsed by them. That's all I can tell you. And I would say be very careful with this, because what I have noticed is when these things happen, there's an old saying that says, when there's blood on the streets, buy property, or create Facebook groups or GoFundMe accounts or this, that, and the other. So you have to be very careful about, and there's going to be people who slide through our chat and don't get caught by the moderators. There are going to be people that try to pass off links. None of those links do I endorse. When you see a PayPal at the bottom of my screen, this is simply if you want to help me, Dad with the Phone, continue to do these live reports. It would be the equivalent if I was playing an instrument on the street corner and I put my hat out. My hat is out in the form of that PayPal account at the bottom of the screen. But I want you to make no mistake that when you give to that, you're not giving to Landon's family. You're not giving to Gannon's family. And I'm not trying to any way say that that's what that's for. That is simply to help the channel along. It's like a listener supported station on your news, or I don't take advertisement. My channels are not monetized. I don't take super chats. But if something lays on your heart to give to Dad with the Phone to help me do what I do, whether that be pay for gas money, people buy me a cup of coffee, people have paid for me and my wife to go out on a date. So it is simply a bucket that I put out that if you want to give into, you can, and I'm going to continue to do this anyway. But I do not want you to think in any way, shape, or form, whether it be in a chat, whether it be on a Facebook group or a YouTube comment, I am not endorsing any of the GoFundMes or any of that stuff to raise money. There may be some legitimate ones out there. There may be legitimate ones out there raising funds for the family. I am not a part of those, and I don't endorse those. And as far as I've been told from the family, they haven't told me that there is a legitimate place. What I will do is I will reach out to the family again, and I'll ask that specific question, since this news has come out, if there is a legitimate place, or if people want to send cards or flowers or any of that. I'll find out where we can do that, and I'll put a post on Dad with the Phone Facebook page, and or I'll probably make a post live on YouTube. But at this moment, I don't have any information on a family endorsed thing. If the sheriff's department puts something out, or if you've seen something that the family has put out, I'm not saying that it's not out there. I'm simply saying that I don't have information on that. So, hey, thanks for watching Dad with the Phone. We'll probably be back later tonight because information is flowing in even as I'm sitting here doing these live videos. So we're going to go through a bunch of messages. I know a bunch of you have messaged me. I know a bunch of you have reached out about different things that you've heard on social media, pictures you've seen. We'll look into those and go from there. But thanks for watching Dad with the Phone. We'll see you guys later.